Hello there, it's Brett Green here on a drizzly summer morning here in Lithgow, Australia. And I thought it might be interesting to spend a few minutes just having a look at my photography table. I'm using a long fold-up trestle table. It's quite narrow, but the length of it is handy because it means that I can actually take my photographs, have a little bit of storage, and also have a space where I can put my models while they're waiting to be photographed. I photograph built models and also sprues for review on the same table. And we can see that I've just got a very simple setup of some cardboard sheets that I have blue tacked to the wall behind. The top sheet is white, and directly underneath that I've got a black one as well. So if I have a very pale coloured plastic, I tend to use the black. If I have grey regular plastic, then I'll use the white. Starting on the right hand side, I have a little bit of storage with some bits and pieces. In fact, I might start with a camera. It's an EOS 50 Canon camera. I was a Nikon person before this, but the Canon has certainly convinced me. It's a 3/4 sensor size, and it's interchangeable lenses, and the quality is fantastic. The depth of field is incredible. I use a 28mm lens as my go-to lens, but I've also got a 15 to 45mm image stabilized lens, which I mainly use for model shows and away from the studio. So that usually stays there. And we've got spare batteries. We have a spare remote trigger, and this little contraption here is a shotgun microphone and also a light. So if I've got this on a tripod over on the other side of the room, then I can shed a bit of light on it and have good quality audio as well. And that just basically fits onto the hot shoe there, where the trigger is attached at the moment. So just bits and pieces of storage in there. In the little basket next door, I have AAA batteries and a couple of post-it note pads, which are handy at all sorts of times. So once we get across here, as I mentioned before, I would be stacking sprues, taking them out of the bags. So I always have a little scalpel here to cut bags open if they're not self-sealed. And pulling back, in fact, you'll see I also have a number of pieces of black cardboard and white cardboard. So if I'm using the white background, then I might want to photograph something black. I've got a little box that I keep here, and that basically just allows me to put either a vertical black or a vertical white piece of cardboard for photography. That's particularly handy actually for photo etched parts. You just basically stand it up against the black, and it usually comes up quite nicely. But we can do the same with a little bit of white cardboard as well. So as you can see, it's hardly professional grade cardboard. I've literally just ripped them into pieces of approximately the right size. And then yes, I'd be putting models here as I was waiting to photograph them for sprue shots. Pulling back a little bit, we can see what I think is the real key to model photography, and that is light. Let there be light, and in particular, let there be Bowen's lights. So I've got two Bowen's strobes, which I've had for probably 20 years, and they were very expensive 20 years ago. You young people don't know how good you've got it. So you can just go onto eBay and you can buy something equivalent to this for, you know, a few $100s each. And some of those are quite good as well. So the objective is to get light on there. And this is a flash unit, not a static light. You'll notice also the soft box, we call them. So it's a translucent white cover. Inside the black rear is a reflective silver foil, if you like. And this basically just softens the light so that you don't get a lot of hard directional shadows. And if you've got two of them going at about 45 degrees, then you have the perfect situation for nice, even lighting, whether it be for your modeling or anything else, really. So let's see if I can get just a slightly wider shot. There we go. So that's what the whole thing looks like. A bit of time and thought and space for your photography table is always a good thing. You can do this on a smaller scale with smaller sized lights. Make it a temporary setup that you can pack up if you don't have the luxury of a dedicated space. And I almost forgot to discuss in a bit more detail the remote trigger. So this camera, the Canon M50 EOS, has an old-fashioned hot shoe on the top, and attached to that is a small plastic box. And that little box is a trigger for the Bowen's flash units. So if we come back here and have a look behind the flash unit, you'll see that there's a plug in there. So that just plugs in there. We've got a coiled lead, and on the other end of it we have another little plastic box, which is the receiver. So basically, when I push the shutter button on the camera, it sends a signal to the little box on top of the camera, which transmits wirelessly to this box, which is connected to the flash, which sets the flash off. And in fact, another little clever bit is that the second flash unit actually senses the light going off in the first flash unit, so they go off simultaneously and wirelessly as well. So what this means for you, the model photographer, is that you don't need to worry about having the camera on a tripod all the time. It means that you can basically walk around the studio, walk around the table, and take photographs from whatever angle you like. The shutter speeds, because of the very bright flash, can be quite fast, so I usually have mine set around 100th of a second, so you don't have any risk of blurring or other problems like that. The photo table can also play host to three-dimensional backgrounds. This is Noise Miniature's 1/48 scale Luftwaffe hangar interior. It comes in 5 pieces of light cardboard, and I've just made them a little more rigid by gluing them to some foam board and cutting them to size. Then it's a simple matter of just joining them at the back corner with a piece of wide masking tape, and voila, we have a three-dimensional hangar. Looks quite convincing once you get down to the appropriate angles. The low angles look particularly good. This is the Hobby Boss 1/48 scale TA152C0. So that's the story of my photography table. I'm Brett Green from HyperScale Video Workshop. Bye for now.